It is in Thorpe for us this morning in the Peak District to explain what's going on. Morning, Laura.
Well, good morning to you. We're still hoping the sun's going to come out, and on a day like today you could almost navigate these hills using line of sight, but mountain rescuers tell us that so many people are going up these hills unprepared. Not only that, they're using smartphones to navigate, and that is causing them real problems.
Ready? Yeah, 3.
This is what can happen if you take a wrong turn in the Lakeland Fells. This kind of rescue is becoming more common, many caused by the very gadgets walkers need to call for help. It's something these ladies hope to avoid. They're training to walk Wainwright's coast-to-coast route. They'll plot their 190 miles on some modern technology.
It's fantastic because you can zoom in on it. We can track our routes, so we can see at the end of each day how far we've gone, you know, how high we've climbed, what time we started, what time we finished, how long it's taken us, and all that sort of stuff that's interesting to us personally, but probably not interesting to anybody else.
They're doing all of this to raise money for mountain rescue. Both know how to use a map and compass. Other walkers don't. And rescuers say simply relying on smartphones could lead to trouble.
Somebody was navigating off Google Maps on a smartphone only a few weeks ago in the mist, and just got hopelessly lost. Couldn't tell north from south. Couldn't tell anything about the terrain that we're on. It took us about 3 hours to find them.
Rescuers like Nick are worried about this reliance on technology.
I think we come across a lot of people now who even if they've got a map and compass, don't actually know what to do with it. There does seem to be a significant number of people that are relying on technology but haven't got anything to back it up with if it goes wrong.
We certainly found that some walkers are more prepared than others.
I've got a first aid kit, survival bag, whistle, compass.
Would you navigate using your mobile phone?
Yes,
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
If that was an option.
What if you ran out of battery?
Then I'd be in trouble, wouldn't I?
Rescuers hope a new generation can enjoy the fells and discover them in their own way. They just need to learn that in this environment, new technology has its limits. Well, as you heard there, mountain rescuers have had a 50% increase in rescues in just 5 years, and they're saying smartphones could be to blame, although many of them actually use them themselves to navigate. One of them is Kevin Corcoran. You've actually used these smartphones, but it's not the be-all and end-all. You have to have a backup, is that right?
That's exactly right. They're really useful tools, and it makes a day on the hills quite pleasant and takes off some of the tasks of navigation. But you've always got to have those skills behind you in case the phone runs out of battery.
Now, we have had a text from a viewer who's told us that there's new technology out there that could mean we could charge the mobile phone up, even up in the hillside, using one of these battery-operated chargers. Do you still believe we've got to know how to navigate using a map and compass?
Oh, absolutely. There's no way you can really rely on technology when your life's at stake. So having the basic skills is really essential if you're going to go anywhere off the beaten track.
Now, you're saying having the basic skills. One of the things I've heard from mountain rescuers is they're really kind of losing their sense of humour over this one. Many of the rescues that are being called out to are lost walkers, not people who've been hurt. Is that your experience? Is that something that mountain rescue as a whole want to see stopped, really?
Well, obviously we'd like to see people better prepared so that some of the large amounts of call-outs we're getting in certain regions are cut down. Everybody in mountain rescue are volunteers, so they're taking time off work to go out and help people who don't really need to be helped if they had some basic skills.
Now, tell us about these basic skills, not just map and compass. What else should you have in your rucksack and with you?
Well, you should always have some decent footwear. I mean, one of the biggest problems we have is ankle injuries. It's the most common injury mountain rescue teams come across. So decent footwear with perhaps ankle support. You should also carry waterproofs and warm clothing. And in this kind of mild weather having at the moment, and especially on the very hot days, you should have plenty of fluids. I mean, when you're out for a day on the hills, you are actually going to get through a lot of water.
I did see quite a few people on top of the fells in Lakeland earlier this week. They had shorts and t-shirts on, set off in the sunshine and got to the top, and they were freezing. They hadn't brought a jumper with them. And that's one of the things you really kind of even have to take into account. It's basic, but people aren't doing it. Is that right?
It's very true. I mean, it may seem very, very warm on the ground, but as soon as you start getting a bit of height and getting up into the hills, the temperature starts plummeting. And if the weather changes and the mist comes down, or you end up in low cloud, then you are going to get very, very cold very quickly.
Kevin Corcoran, thank you very much. Well, that's all the knowledge you need to take to the hills safely. And the two women you heard on the film there, they're twirlies on tour, as they're called. They're setting off on the coast to coast, so they're hoping for good weather, and you can follow them. They're going to put the blog on their smartphone so that you can see. And as you can see, things like that can be very useful, but the message we're getting from mountain rescuers is that you really have to back that smartphone up with a map and a compass.